When I retreat into my inner world, seeking a state of calm and tranquility in my thoughts, I often find that countless external stimuli threaten to disturb this peace. This struggle is not unique to me or you. It is a universal challenge that has persisted throughout human history. From ancient times to the present day, the pursuit of power, deception, duplicity, selfishness, and the distortion of reality have always been present. These behaviors often manifest in those holding positions of authority, in friends, family members, romantic partners, or colleagues. The commonality in all these scenarios is the same: an attempt to distort our perception of reality and draw us away from our inner freedom and rational center. Today, I want to focus on a specific aspect of this manipulation: the dark labyrinth created by narcissistic individuals. These people, driven by their selfish goals, seek to dismantle your psychological wholeness and inner guidance, coercing you into submission to their distorted understanding of reality. For them, your thoughts and feelings matter only to the extent that they can exploit them. In this context, the teachings of Stoicism, a philosophical tradition that stretches from Zeno to Cleanthes, Chrysippus, Epictetus, Seneca, and ultimately myself, Marcus Aurelius, can serve as a sanctuary, a guide, and a fortress against such manipulation. The Stoic Foundation: Control of the Mind. Stoicism emphasizes that the most valuable possession a person has is their own mind, judgment, and capacity for virtue. The external world, filled with the games of power, deceit, and manipulation, is beyond our complete control. We cannot entirely change the words or actions of others. However, we do have control over how we react to these events, the values we uphold, and the mental frameworks we employ. This core principle becomes our most potent weapon against narcissistic manipulation. A narcissist's ultimate goal is to trap you in a mental dungeon, a dark space where your sense of reality becomes so clouded that you can no longer discern truth from falsehood, right from wrong. They often present themselves as either innocent victims, helpless dependents, or superior beings who diminish your worth. Their aim is to exploit your emotional vulnerabilities, your empathy, compassion, and sense of justice, to gain control over you. Here, Stoic philosophy provides a lifeline. You cannot control the external world, but you can control your mind. As Epictetus frequently reminds us, it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The narcissist's aim is to cloud your judgment, and the way to counter this is by keeping your mind clear, adhering to your principles, and applying rational discernment. Understanding the narcissist's tactics. The strategies employed by narcissistic individuals are varied and often insidious. One common tactic is to invoke their past traumas and suffering to elicit your sympathy. They've suffered so much in their life, others might say. You should show patience, forgive their mistakes, and overlook their flaws. While such sentiments may initially seem compassionate, they often serve as a cultural tendency to explain and excuse every harmful behavior with psychological reasoning. Stoic philosophy, however, demands a focus on the moral nature of actions rather than their psychological origins. While everyone has the capacity for virtue despite their suffering, not everyone chooses to act virtuously. Pain and hardship do not justify manipulation or harm. This distinction is crucial. Tragic pasts may explain behavior, but they do not excuse it. A person who commits injustice, manipulates others, or exploits relationships should be held accountable for their actions, independent of their past experiences. Seneca's writings on ethics emphasize the need to maintain balance and clarity in our moral reasoning. While he advocates for understanding others' struggles, he warns against allowing this understanding to erode our principles. Forgiving harmful behaviors out of misplaced compassion leads to the erosion of justice. In Stoic ethics, Actions are evaluated based on their intrinsic nature, not their justifications. To accept harmful behavior simply because of its psychological explanations is to abandon the moral framework necessary for a just life. Narcissistic manipulation on a broader scale. Narcissistic manipulation extends beyond personal relationships to societal and political realms. Leaders, managers, and individuals in positions of authority often manipulate public perceptions for their benefit. They distort reality, spread misinformation, and create false narratives to maintain control. Such actions corrode the fabric of society, making it difficult for people to discern right from wrong. As Marcus Aurelius, I witnessed how deception and manipulation weakened the Roman Empire. When people lose their grasp on reality, they cannot defend justice. A society that cannot uphold justice becomes fertile ground for narcissists, psychopaths, and other manipulative individuals to thrive. In such an environment, Stoic philosophy becomes even more relevant, urging individuals to maintain their inner fortresses of reason and virtue. Personal boundaries in relationships. The same principles apply in personal relationships. A friend, partner, or family member may use narcissistic tactics to burden you with guilt and shame. Statements like, "Without your help, I'll be ruined," or "You're the only one who can save me," are designed to create an emotional trap. Under this pressure, you may begin to neglect your own needs, values, and reality, surrendering to their demands. Such submission is not an act of virtue, but a capitulation to manipulation. Stoicism teaches that preserving your psychological autonomy is vital. You are not obligated to carry the emotional burdens of others, especially when coerced. At times, cultural norms compound this problem. Phrases like, "Try to understand everyone, don't judge them," can create confusion. While understanding others is essential, it does not mean justifying or accepting their harmful behavior. Understanding should clarify reality, not obscure it. Stoicism emphasizes that moral clarity is paramount. Compassion is not incompatible with justice. Instead, it works best when guided by reason. Narcissistic tactics and emotional exploitation. A narcissist's primary tools are guilt and shame. Guilt, when valid, can be a healthy emotional response to wrongdoing. But narcissists weaponize it, manipulating you into feeling responsible for their problems or actions. "If you don't help me, you're a bad person," they might suggest. This is a trap. Stoic wisdom advises that guilt is appropriate only when one has truly committed an injustice. If someone uses baseless accusations to induce guilt, recognize it for what it is: manipulation. Similarly, shame is another weapon in their arsenal. They might say, "How can you claim to be a good person if you don't help me?" Such statements aim to undermine your sense of self and moral integrity. But Stoicism teaches that virtue is not about yielding to emotional blackmail. It is about acting in accordance with reason and justice. If a person is genuinely in need, help them within the bounds of your capacity and values. If they are exploiting your virtues for selfish ends, set boundaries and protect your integrity. Stoic practices for resilience. Resilience against narcissistic manipulation requires cultivating your inner strength. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus all emphasize the importance of daily reflection. Take time to review your actions, thoughts, and emotions. Ask yourself, am I being fair? Am I acting with integrity? Am I allowing someone else to control my mind? Meditation on these questions builds a mental habit of vigilance. When someone tells you a dramatic story to gain your sympathy, pause and analyze. Is this genuine? Are they truly helpless? Or is this a tactic to manipulate me? Is their story a justification for unethical behavior? The role of society and culture. On a societal level, this approach becomes even more critical. Narcissistic individuals in power exploit cultural norms to maintain their dominance. They use propaganda, fear, and misinformation to distort reality and erode the public's ability to discern truth. Stoic philosophy urges us to resist these tactics by seeking the truth, questioning authority, and maintaining clarity in our judgments. Zeno and Chrysippus, the early Stoic philosophers, framed morality within a cosmic context. They believed in a universal order governed by reason, where all actions should align with virtue and justice. Narcissistic manipulation disrupts this order by promoting chaos, injustice, and dishonesty. By adhering to Stoic principles, we protect not only our individual integrity, but also the broader social fabric. Final reflections. The power of autonomy. Ultimately, Stoicism reminds us that no one can control your mind without your consent. No matter how hard a narcissist tries, if you remain rooted in your values, reason, and moral framework, their influence will falter. They may attempt to draw you into their fabricated world, but by calmly and rationally assessing their actions, you deny them the power to do so. Remember, you are the master of your mind. This realization grants you a strength greater than any external force. While the world around you may encourage you to understand, justify, or accept harmful behavior, Stoicism teaches you to seek the truth. By doing so, the narcissist's labyrinth crumbles, leaving you in the sanctuary of your rational, virtuous mind, an unassailable fortress of freedom and clarity. This inner fortress is where you reside as a Stoic. It is where your reason, virtue, and judgment converge. In this space, no one can exploit your emotions or coerce your thoughts. Here you stand resilient against manipulation, grounded in truth and guided by wisdom. This is the essence of Stoicism, living in harmony with nature, safeguarding your integrity, and remaining steadfast in the face of adversity.